Hey everybody, this is Anthony Vandegrift with Endtime Ministries, and this is Prophecy in the News. January the 15th, 2013, yesterday, was the day that the Real ID Act was supposed to be implemented. The Real ID Act was signed into law by President George W. Bush on May the 11th of 2005. From that time until now, there have been multiple dates set for the implementation of the act, and all of those dates have been pushed back or postponed, and I'm sure most of you are aware that the 15th yesterday was also pushed back until 2015. So we're happy about that, I'm happy about that, and I'm sure most of you out there are also happy about that. But there's still some things that I wanted to address about the Real ID Act and the Mark of the Beast. A lot of people were very afraid about the Real ID Act because they thought it was the Mark of the Beast, but it wasn't. The Real ID Act was simply a precursor to the Mark, if you will. It had some similarities to how the Mark of the Beast is described in the Bible, but if it would have been implemented yesterday, it would have only been something that got people comfortable with the idea, which we didn't want that, and we didn't want the government having that much control, and we're happy that none of it happened. But in the case that it did, or in cases that may come in the near future, I want to go over what the Mark of the Beast is today and give you some understanding, and maybe help you understand what it's going to be, when it's going to happen, just so that you don't have to worry and fear about it when everything is coming to pass. So we're going to go ahead and read in Revelation chapter 13, verses 15 through 18, if you want to follow along. And this is what it says. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So from this passage, there's about 5 things that I can pull out of it that help me to understand what the Mark of the Beast is. So I'm going to share those with you so that you can have understanding about it as well. The first thing to point out is that it is the mark of the beast. If you don't have the beast, you can't have the mark. Until the world government system is formed and the Antichrist is in power of that world government system, you cannot have the mark of the beast. You can have precursors and things that may be similar to how that's going to be, but without the beast, the Antichrist, you can't have the mark. And we know he will not be in existence or in power until the abomination of desolation. So once that happens and he gets in control, then you can watch for the mark of the beast to come soon after that. The second point is that there's going to be something about worship involved with the mark of the beast. That's going to be the overall goal of Satan and the Antichrist, is to get the worship of the people rather than God receiving that worship. And so as we read in verse 15, worship is going to be a critical part of that. You're going to have a choice. You can either choose to deny the Antichrist and to refuse the mark of the beast, or you can say, you know what, I want to keep living life the same way I've been living it. I'll take your mark, I'll worship you, and I'll go on with that path. So you will have the choice, and worship will be involved with the mark of the beast. The third thing is that it's going to be about control. As we saw with the Real ID Act, some aspects of control were in that. Without the Real ID, you couldn't enter into a federal building, you couldn't take a flight. There were different things like that were involved with the Real ID Act. The mark of the beast will be similar, but to a greater extent. Without the mark of the beast, you're not going to be able to buy, and you're not going to be able to sell. So it's going to limit you way more than the Real ID Act was going to limit you. So control is going to be an aspect of that. The fourth thing is that it appears to be inside of you. It's going to be in the hand or in the forehead, according to the King James Version. And a lot of people say, well, maybe it's on. Maybe it's something on your hand, on your forehead. Maybe it's a cell phone. Well, I don't really think that can be the case, because you have to hold the cell phone. You put it to your ear. If I was holding my cell phone and someone said, that's the mark of the beast, I would throw my cell phone across the room. It wouldn't be the smartest call. I'd have to get a new cell phone, but that's how it would be. So I think it's something that's probably going to be inside of you. And there's a lot of interesting things that go into that, but it appears to be something like a microchip, possibly. So the fifth point that I want to talk about is that it's the number of a man, the number of his name. It's 666. Somehow this number is going to tie into the Antichrist, whether it be the calculation of the letters of his name, or whether it be that the number 666 somehow is associated to some position that he had, or in some way it associates with him. We really don't understand that right now, but as things progress, we'll have a better understanding of that once we see an idea of who the possibilities for the Antichrist can be. But the main two things, those were the 5 points, the main two things that you need to understand so that you don't have to worry about anything when, like, for example, the Real ID Act was coming around, is it the mark of the beast? First of all, it has to be after the Antichrist is revealed in power. Until that happens, you cannot have the mark of the beast. It does not exist. The second thing is that worship is involved with it, and you do have the choice. You can say, no, I don't want it, and you can stand for the cause of Jesus Christ, or you can say, yes, I'll take it. But no, if you take it, that you are forever lost. So it's important to understand, it's important to know, and also understand that it's not something that you're going to be tricked into. You're not going to wake up one morning and have the mark of the beast without ever making the decision. You have the choice to decide, so make the right choice and stand for Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching today. This is Anthony Vandegrift with Endtime Ministries, and this has been your prophecy in the news.